Hey guys, welcome to my channel. I hope you're all doing very well. So the Golden Globes announced their nominations for this year's awards earlier today, and oh my goodness, do I have some thoughts. Oh my word, do I have some thoughts and concerns and worries after seeing that list, because we're gonna dive into it. We're gonna dive into it in this video. We're gonna be talking about my predictions for who will win, my thoughts on who should win, okay? And of course, we're going to be diving into some snubs, because there were a lot of them. There were a lot of very prominent, important snubs that I can't wait to dive into in this video. I'm going to try and keep it civil, okay? But just know I'm not in a great mood. I am not in a great mood whatsoever. But before we get into this video, just a couple of disclaimers. First of all, because of the general chaos that was 2020, I wasn't able to see as many films as I would have liked before getting into awards season, particularly when it comes to the film categories that we'll be discussing. There are a few holes in my knowledge in terms of the films themselves, simply because the release schedule has been chaotic, like truly chaotic this past year. So I don't even know when I'm going to be able to see the films is the problem. And so just keep that in mind when I'm discussing these categories. And secondly, this is based on my opinion. Listen, this is based on my opinion. I don't know what to tell you. Like, if you have a differing opinion, feel free to let me know down in the comments below. I would love to hear who you guys think should win, who will win, and of course the snubs that did not make it onto the nominations list this year, because there were so many. Like, whatever, we're gonna talk about it. But first of all, please be sure to subscribe to my channel and make sure you turn on your notifications if you haven't already. Without further ado, let's dive into the 2021 Golden Globe nominations. First up, we have the Best Actor in a Motion Picture Drama. Here the nominees are Riz Ahmed for Sound of Metal, Chadwick Boseman for Ma Rainey's Black Bottom, Anthony Hopkins for The Father, Gary Oldman for Mank, and Tahar Rahim for The Mauritanian. When it comes to these performances, I've only been able to see 3 out of the 5. I've seen Mank and Ma Rainey's Black Bottom and Sound of Metal. In this case, straight up, I would say that Chadwick Boseman is probably going to win for Ma Rainey's Black Bottom. This is going to be an honorary award to kind of honor all of his performances, all of his contributions to Hollywood and to the film industry, and I think rightfully so. I think it's such a tragedy that we lost this incredible talent last year. And so I do think that the Hollywood Foreign Press Association would want to honor him and honor that and his contributions by giving him this award for an excellent performance, mind you. His performance in Ma Rainey's Black Bottom is excellent still. That doesn't take anything away from his performance in that film. Not to mention, he even could have got a nomination for his performance in Da 5 Bloods, because he was also excellent in that. So I do think he is highly deserving of the award. But in terms of his competitors, I would say that out of all of these guys, Riz Ahmed would be the second front runner, because truly, honestly, Riz Ahmed's performance in Sound of Metal is excellent. It's truly breathtaking. He is phenomenal in that film. And I would say, you know, if the awards weren't about so much more than just your performance on screen, it really is about so many other elements, so many other factors. I would say if you stripped away all of those factors and the fact that, you know, Chadwick Boseman sadly and tragically passed away last year, I do think it would have been more of an even battle between the two, because I do think that Riz Ahmed's performance in Sound of Metal is career defining. Like, it's so good. Gary Oldman in Mank is just good. Like, he's fine, but it's not the best Gary Oldman that he's ever Gary Oldman'd. And then you have Anthony Hopkins in The Father. I haven't watched The Father, but I can already imagine what that performance looks like, and like, I've seen it before. Anthony Hopkins is an excellent actor. No one is saying otherwise, least of all me. I am not saying otherwise. I'm just saying that I've seen his kind of performance before. I did see this interview that he had where he was talking about, you know, how nowadays when he takes on a role, it's so much more simplified for him. Like, all he does is perfect his lines and, you know, understand the character, and then all of the other embellishments are kind of stripped away for him. And I do think that that's reflected on the performances that I see on screen. Like, I don't know, I feel like they tend to be quite samey. They tend to be quite repetitive. He tends to play the same kind of character. So I don't know how I don't know how he keeps getting all of this praise during award season. Maybe it's because it's Anthony Hopkins, which completely makes sense, but I do think it's unfortunate when you consider that someone else could have gotten this slot for a more innovative creative performance. And we will be discussing the snubs in this category in a second, but I did just want to mention Tahar Rahim for the Mauritanian. I think it's excellent to see some more Middle Eastern talent getting on the board here, so congrats to him. When it comes to the snubs, there are so many, and it's embarrassing. First of all, where's Kingsley Ben-Adir for One Night in Miami? Where is he? Where is he? His performance in that film is excellent. And in fact, the lack of nominations for the actors in that film is truly worrying, truly offensive to me personally. The only actor who is nominated from that film is Leslie Odom Jr., who is very deserving of it. But where on earth is Kingsley Ben-Adir? Like, the fact that he's not here makes no logical sense to me at all. Secondly, we have the absence of Lakeith Stanfield for Judas and the Black Messiah. That makes no sense either. I haven't even seen Judas and the Black Messiah, but I already know that makes no sense. Just from what I saw in the trailer, you couldn't make a space for Lakeith Stanfield. Why do you hate me so much? Anyway, then we have Anthony Mackie for The Banker. The absence of The Banker here just tells me exactly all that I need to know when it comes to Apple TV+. The absence of this film tells me everything that I need to know. Apple TV+ is asleep. Apple TV+ is asleep. Like, I am so sorry. The Banker is an excellent film. The Banker is an excellent film that 100% should have been on this board, but no. The absence of any nominations for this film tells me all that I need to know about the campaign manager over at Apple TV+. Asleep. Someone wake him up. So frustrating. Anthony Mackie's performance in that film was excellent, and it will go unrewarded. And that upsets me very, very much. Whatever, we need to move on. Next, we have Best Actress in a Motion Picture Drama. And here the nominees are Viola Davis in Ma Rainey's Black Bottom, Andra Day in The United States versus Billie Holiday, Vanessa Kirby in Pieces of a Woman, Frances McDormand in Nomadland, and Carey Mulligan in Promising Young Woman. Out of these 5 performances, I have not seen The United States versus Billie Holiday, but I have seen all of the other films. I have to say that when it comes to this category, it's pretty on point. I would say this is pretty on point. I don't really have many qualms with this one. I think Viola Davis is absolutely deserving of this nomination for her role in Ma Rainey's Black Bottom. Like, she shone. She transformed herself and shone. She's incredible. But like I've already said, the woman doesn't know how to do a bad job. So that's to be expected. But I still want to give her praise. I still want to give her the respect that she is due, because she is truly consistently excellent. Then we have Vanessa Kirby in Pieces of a Woman. She's also excellent in this film. Truly phenomenal in this film. The first half of Pieces of a Woman is one of the most intense, emotionally gripping scenes that I've ever seen. The birthing scene in that film is like no other. I would highly recommend you watch that film purely for that birthing scene, because truly there's nothing else like it. And Vanessa Kirby acts the hell out of that scene. So 100%. For that scene alone, she deserves to be on this list. Then we have Frances McDormand for Nomadland. I don't want to go against the grain, okay? I don't want to stir any trouble up, but I personally didn't love Nomadland. I understand what the point is, and I understand highlighting this group of people who live in America. I think that's phenomenal. I just wanted the film to be a little bit more engaging. I just wanted it to be a little bit more structured. I feel like it's definitely another one of those vibe films that I've spoken about in the past, where there's no clear structure, there's no clear plot for what's going on. It's mostly about exploring this lifestyle and these characters, and especially Frances McDormand's character, which is fine, but it's not my personal preference when it comes to films, so that's why I found it to be a little bit more tricky to kind of get through. But I think Frances McDormand is great. I mean, she craps in a bucket during this film. Like, she sits in a bucket and like poops in a bucket, and so she deserves the nomination for that, I guess. No one asked her to do it though, so whatever. At this point, we all know that films like Nomadland are just like catnip for award season, so it makes sense that it's on this list. Carey Mulligan in Promising Young Woman she's excellent in that film as well. I do intend to review it, maybe. I don't know if you guys would be interested in seeing that, but she is brilliant. She has a brilliant performance in that film, even if I did take some issue with the film itself, in particular with the second half, but we won't get into it for this video. If I was to predict who would win Best Actress in a Motion Picture, I would say that it's kind of a fair fight. I think it's between Carey Mulligan and Vanessa Kirby. I think Vanessa Kirby had a lot of heat at the beginning of awards season, like even like last year, but I'm not sure if it's carried through to now. I think maybe Carey Mulligan has kind of risen at just the right time, so she might steal it from under her. I do think that Frances McDormand is always a factor in this. I mean, you know, critics love her, so she might have a chance as well. And even Viola Davis is excellent. I haven't really heard much momentum about Andra Day, so I'm not sure about her, but overall, I think it's a four-way split in terms of who could potentially take this home. I would personally want to see Viola Davis, because of course I do. Or if not Viola Davis, then I would be happy with Carey Mulligan or Vanessa Kirby as well. So next category we have is Best Actor in a Supporting Role in Any Motion Picture. And here we have Sacha Baron Cohen for The Trial of the Chicago 7, Daniel Kaluuya for Judas and the Black Messiah, Jared Leto for The Little Things, Bill Murray for On the Rocks, and Leslie Odom Jr. for One Night in Miami. Now, this is another category that I feel is pretty well balanced, but if there was a snub that I would mention, I would say that I wanted to see Hugh Grant for The Gentleman in this list. I definitely think he would have been an excellent addition to the list because he was truly phenomenal in The Gentleman. His tongue-in-cheek humor, his charisma in that film. Are you kidding? Are you kidding? I'm so upset that The Gentleman overall didn't get a lot of recognition in the Golden Globes. We'll be talking about that in a second. But Hugh Grant in that film definitely deserved a Golden Globe nomination. I think it's especially a shame because when it comes to the nomination for the supporting role, they only have one category as opposed to splitting it up between drama and musical or comedy. So I think he would have been a perfect representation of the musical / comedy kind of category within the supporting role category. And so it's a shame. It's a shame that he's not there. But in terms of who I think should definitely win, Daniel Kaluuya. Daniel Kaluuya, absolutely 100%, no questions asked. Take your questions to someone else. Yes, I haven't seen the film, okay? I haven't seen the film. And in fact, I've only seen The Trial of the Chicago 7 and One Night in Miami out of this entire list. So there are a few in there that I haven't seen the performances of, but it doesn't matter because it's Daniel Kaluuya and I've seen the trailer for Judas and the Black Messiah, so he 100% deserves to win the Golden Globe for purely his performance in the trailer alone. Next question. We're moving on now. Next up, we have Best Actress in a Supporting Role in Any Motion Picture. And here we have Glenn Close for Hillbilly Elegy, Olivia Colman for The Father, Jodie Foster for The Mauritanian, Amanda Seyfried for Mank, and Helena Zengel for News of the World. This is another category that I haven't seen much from. I've only seen Glenn Close in Hillbilly Elegy and Amanda Seyfried in Mank. Out of those two performances, I would say that I preferred Glenn Close because I do think that she was one of the best parts of Hillbilly Elegy by far, by a mile, by an absolute mile. I know that that film is quite controversial, okay? My review of that film got some people quite heated, but I still stand by the fact that Glenn Close and Amy Adams were the best parts of that film. Everything else was kind of a mess. So I'm happy to see her here on this board, and I do think that she is a superior performance between the two that I have seen. When it comes to who will win, maybe Amanda Seyfried. I heard a lot about her again when Mank came out, but I haven't really been hearing much from anyone when it comes to this category. So I don't really know who's the front runner for this category, but I would say Amanda Seyfried based on the hype around her performance when Mank actually came out. Next, we have Best Director Motion Picture, and the nominees here are Emerald Fennell for Promising Young Woman, David Fincher for Mank, Regina King for One Night in Miami, Aaron Sorkin for The Trial of the Chicago 7, and Chloe Zhao for Nomadland. Now, this is a really interesting category because for the first time ever, the majority of the nominations are female. So congrats to the Golden Globes for at least that. Well done for acknowledging the excellent work of female directors. I'm very happy to see it. When it comes to my thoughts on the films on this list, I've actually seen all of them for once, so I'm happy to see them all here. When it comes to Mank, okay, when it comes to Mank, I don't want to go against the grain again, blah, blah, blah. I don't think it's that great. I don't think that Mank, I think the main problem with Mank is that it's just so inaccessible. It's just so dense, and it's like this huge mystery box that, you know, you have this intense mystery. There are so many strings to unravel when it comes to what's going on with Mank thematically, but it's not really interesting to dive into. Like, I've been having fun diving into these, you know, complex ideas and all these references when it it comes to WandaVision, when it comes to Lovecraft Country, a ton of things that I watched in 2020 allowed me to really put my thinking cap on and get my brain engaged into what I was watching. But Mank didn't feel enjoyable. It felt like a chore. It felt like a chore, and so I didn't have a fun time watching it, and consequently I'm just like, if this wasn't David Fincher, I guarantee you that it would not be on this list. And I think in a similar way, this very much reminded me of Tenet, which is, interestingly enough, absent from the majority of these categories because it's just so dense and it's not fun to figure out. You want to know something about my thoughts on Mank? I actually filmed a whole review for Mank and I never posted it because by the time that I was actually saddled with having to edit that review, I was bored beyond words. Bored beyond words. Like, I was just over it. So I filmed the whole review and never posted it. So that should tell you all you need to know about my thoughts on Mank. Trial of the Chicago 7 is excellent, but I do think that Aaron Sorkin is ultimately far better at writing than he is directing overall. I just don't think he has a very interesting visual style or a very standout directorial style. So I think his writing is what really excels in the Trial of Chicago 7 as opposed to his directing. Regina King does an excellent job with One Night in Miami. I'm so happy to see her here on this list. It is not an accident, okay? It is not patronizing. It is purely deserved because she really did such a great job here. And on her debut film, her debut feature film, just a huge congrats to her. And when it comes to Promising Young Woman, I think this is one of the strongest directorial footprints that we see in this list because truly one of the things that makes Promising Young Woman so good and so unique is Emerald Fennell's directing. 100%, like literally 100%. So I'm glad to see her on this list. It is also very well deserved. And so next up, to round out the drama categories, we have Best Motion Picture Drama. And here the nominees are The Father, Mank, Nomadland, Promising Young Woman, and The Trial of the Chicago 7. Now, I haven't seen The Father. Okay, I haven't seen The Father, so I can't speak to the quality of the film. I might eat my words after seeing The Father. I might come back to you guys and say, wow, this was truly one of the best films I've ever seen. Forget what I said beforehand. Like this very much warranted a nomination under Best Motion Picture. I might say that in a couple of months, who knows? But for now, since I haven't seen it, why is it here? Why is it here? Where is One Night in Miami? What happened? What happened to the plot of the story? They nominated Regina King for Best Director. They nominated Leslie Odom Jr. for Best Supporting Actor. We were on the right track and then they lost it. They lost the plot and decided not to nominate One Night in Miami for Best Motion Picture. That makes no sense. That makes no goddamn sense. What are they doing? What are they do? Whatever. Next we have Mank. Imagine how upset I am. Imagine, after I just told you my thoughts on Mank, imagine how upset I am to see this film on this list. But it's David Fincher, so of course. It's David Fincher, so of course it's on this list. But based on the film itself, I don't believe that it deserves to be here. No, absolutely not. Next we have Promising Young Woman. Absolutely. Nomadland, catnip for awards voters. We already know what the deal is there. The Trial of the Chicago 7, like I said, Aaron Sorkin's strength is not in directing. I don't know why this film is here. Where is Judas and the Black Messiah? What? Listen, I must reiterate, I have not seen Judas and the Black Messiah, but I already know it's superior to the Trial of the Chicago 7. Do you want to know why I know this? Because many things have been superior. Many things that have tackled similar things have been done in a superior manner. For example, When They See Us from 2019, but also Mangrove from 2020 by Steve McQueen himself. So imagine my surprise when I see that Judas and the Black Messiah is not even nominated, but instead the Trial of the Chicago 7 is, when so many other things have done exactly what it does so much better. So yeah, I haven't seen Judas and the Black Messiah, but I guarantee you it is superior to the Trial of the Chicago 7. It deserves a screenplay nomination, and I do believe that it did get the screenplay nomination. We're not going to be talking about that here in this video. Congrats to it for that nomination, but I don't think it should be Best Motion Picture. What are they drinking? What are they smoking? Oh my goodness, whatever. Like I said, we're done with the drama categories and we're moving on to the musical or comedy categories. So first up we have the Best Actor in a Motion Picture, Musical or Comedy, and here we have Sacha Baron Cohen, Borat's subsequent movie film, James Corden for The Prom. We'll talk about this. we'll talk about it. Lin-Manuel Miranda for Hamilton, Dev Patel for The Personal History of David Copperfield, and Andy Samberg for Palm Springs. First of all, Golden Globes, Foreign Hollywood Press Association, we need to talk. We need to talk. What the hell is going on? James Corden for The Prom. What? This is when I knew that it was a joke. This is when I knew that this was an April Fool's joke, a prank on my insanity, a prank on my mind, because that makes no sense. James Corden for The Prom. Not even the best male performance in that film. Where's Keegan-Michael Key? I'm so tired. Like, I'm tired. I am so tired. Also, this nomination very much demonstrates why representation is so important. Representation matters because of things like this. Because James Corden is portraying a gay character in this film, and as far as I know, he does not identify as a member of the LGBTQ community. Why not hire someone who does to portray this character and give them the opportunity to be nominated for a Golden Globe that would no doubt very much enhance their career, very much enhance their profile, whilst also representing the LGBTQ plus community. Why not do that? But no, instead Hollywood has decided we're just going to cast James Corden as this gay character. All of a sudden he's been nominated for a Golden Globe portraying a character that in no way reflects his personal experiences. And sure, he is an actor and that's kind of his job, but there are so many gay actors, so many LGBTQ plus characters who could have portrayed this character and done so even better, because quite frankly, he's not even the best male performance in that film. I am so upset. I'm going to dignify the rest of this list because I do think that the other performances on here are very much deserving. Highly deserving. Andy Samberg in Palm Springs is excellent. Truly phenomenal. Dev Patel in The Personal History of David Copperfield. I was so happy to see that. I was so happy because this film has gone largely ignored by, audiences and also by critics, but it is an excellent film. And in fact, when I was looking the film up, like recently, I saw that it's one of the rare films that was given a 5-star rating by The Guardian. Like, out of the blue, I realized, like, wow, this is one of the rare occasions where The Guardian has given a film 5 stars, and it pretty much deserves it. I don't know about 5 stars, but it really does deserve the praise because it's an excellent film, and I think Dev Patel does a great job as the titular character, and it is a case of colorblind casting done right, which I'm very happy to see be awarded as well. But overall, when it comes to this category, I'd be happy with anyone but James Corden winning. However, I do think it would be a bit controversial if Lin-Manuel Miranda himself did not win for Hamilton. Like, give the guy the Golden Globe. Give the guy the Golden Globe for Hamilton. Really? You're not going to give it to Lin-Manuel Miranda for Hamilton? Are you crazy? Nah. He should definitely win. He should definitely win, but as long as James Corden doesn't, I'm good on this one. Next up, we have Best Actress in a Motion Picture, Musical or Comedy. And here we have Maria Bakalova for Borat's subsequent movie film, Kate Hudson for music, Michelle Pfeiffer for French Exit, Rosamund Pike for I Care a Lot, and Anya Taylor-Joy for Emma. So when it comes to this category, I have only seen 2 out of the 5 nominees, so take my thoughts with a grain of salt here as well. I would still say with quite a bit of confidence that Maria Bakalova should win. Maria Bakalova in Borat's subsequent movie film is so excellent. She is so perfect. She is able to deliver in the most uncomfortable scenes that the film has. Like, truly just the worst cringe humor that I can barely stand. She is able to deliver in those scenes. She's also able to deliver a genuinely emotional and emotionally impactful performance. Her relationship with Borat is the emotional core of the film, one that was lacking in the first film, and I think very much differentiated this one from the first film. I think she just does such a good job of delivering, and even those quieter moments between her and Borat. So she's phenomenal in Borat's subsequent movie film. When it comes to Anya Taylor-Joy in Emma, I think she is great there. I don't think it's the best performance that she's been nominated for this year. We'll talk about that later on. But I just thought Emma was fine, personally. Like, I think stylistically it's beautiful. The costumes are stunning. But I wasn't that engaged. Like, I didn't care. I didn't care. So I would say that between the two that I have seen, Maria 100% takes it. I hope that she actually wins. So for our next category, we have Best Motion Picture, Musical or Comedy. And the nominees here are Borat, subsequent movie film, Hamilton, Palm Springs, Music, and The Prom. Generally speaking, I don't have many qualms when it comes to this category. I've seen 4 out of the 5 films, and I think they're very much, warranted for being there. Like, no issues there. My issue is the omission. My issue is with the huge snub, because I'm so sorry, but I will die on this hill. I will 100% die on the hill of Guy Ritchie being ignored by the industry. Where is the gentleman? Where is the gentleman? I'm so sorry, but this is completely unacceptable. I need to speak to someone's manager. I need to speak to someone's manager. Who am I firing today? Because this is truly unacceptable. Where is the gentleman? The film is hilarious. Hugh Grant wasn't nominated for his performance in that film. Okay, but at least nominate the film overall for literally being hilarious, literally being one of the funniest films that came out last year. What is going on? What is literally happening here? I'm so upset. I'm so upset. I personally 100% would have gotten rid of Music, whatever that is. I haven't seen Music, like that's the one that I haven't seen, but I would get rid of it. Put the gentleman in there instead. I feel so strongly about this. I'm really genuinely upset. Whatever, it's fine. But in terms of who I think should win out of this category, Hamilton. Absolutely. Give Lin-Manuel Miranda all of the awards for Hamilton. Give him the Tonys, give him the Golden Globes, give him the Oscars. Absolutely. It's a career-defining moment. It's a career-defining project for him. So he deserves all of the praise for Hamilton. So yeah, I think out of this category, absolutely. I did enjoy all 4 of the films that I have seen in this category, but 100% it should be Hamilton. That should win and probably will win. We'll see. So for our penultimate film category, we have Best Motion Picture Animated. And here the nominees are The Croods, A New Age, Onward, Over the Moon, Soul, and Wolfwalkers. How am I gonna play this? Am I supposed to pretend like I don't know who's going to win this category? Like, am I supposed to pretend, like play along, that this is a mystery for who will win Best Animated Film this year? It's Soul. It's Soul. Sorry to spoil the plot, I guess, but it's definitely Soul, and rightfully so. Like, this film is the best by a mile. I have seen 4 out of the 5 films in this category, and I would say that Soul is comfortably ahead of the competition on this one. And I actually am part of the very small minority who very much enjoy Soul. Okay, I very much enjoy that film, but I don't think that it's quite peak Pixar. I would say that Soul is at the top of tier 2 Pixar as opposed to being comfortably in tier 1. That's just for me personally, but I still don't want to take anything away from that film because it's excellent, and it's also a historic moment in Pixar history, that being of course the fact that it is the first Pixar film that has a black lead in it. So I think the fact that it does have that achievement in there, and also the fact that it's an excellent film all around regardless, definitely makes it the front runner for this category. So it should win, it probably will win. And I think in terms of snubs, we were kind of light on animation offerings this year. I would say that this list pretty much makes sense. I don't really have anything to add to it, so that was pretty straightforward. And finally, for the movie categories, we have Best Motion Picture Foreign Language. Here the nominees are Another Round, La Llorona, The Life Ahead, Minari, and Two of Us. Now, I've only seen 1 out of the 5 films on this list, but I will absolutely say with my whole heart, that I think Another Round should win. I think Another Round should 100% win. And also, where's Mads Mikkelsen on this entire nominees list? Where is Mads Mikkelsen for his performance in Another Round? Because it was truly spectacular. You see what I mean by this being a joke? You see what I mean by nothing making sense this year? The fact that they actually omitted Mads Mikkelsen's performance in Another Round. Like, how am I supposed to take this seriously? Who am I supposed to be firing? Someone should be held responsible for this. Anyway, I do think Another Round absolutely deserves to be on this list and absolutely deserves to go home with the Golden Globe. I think it's between that and Minari, which I've seen a lot of buzz surrounding, but I have no idea when I'll be able to watch. So I think if there was going to be 2 frontrunners for this category, it would be Another Round and Minari. I haven't really heard much about the other films nominations in this category, to be honest, although I do know that The Life Ahead stars Sophia Loren, who is just a legend, like a legend in the film industry, so I wouldn't be surprised if it has a leg up purely on that basis. But I strongly believe if the Golden Globes doesn't want to make an enemy of me permanently, because we're already on rocky ground, especially when we're going to be dealing with the TV categories, but if it doesn't want to make an enemy of me permanently, it will ensure that another round wins, at the very least. Okay, so I was going to give you guys my thoughts on the nominations for both the movie and TV show categories this year, but unfortunately, after seeing the time, after seeing how long I've been yapping for, I think it would be best if I divided the two videos so that I could give you guys my thoughts on the TV show categories in another video. But this does also mean that I can give you guys my overall thoughts on the nominations for the movie categories this year, and I have to say that overall, as you can probably tell, I was really disappointed. I don't think that it was good enough, quite frankly. I also couldn't help but notice Viola Davis and Andra Day are literally the only two women of color that are nominated under the acting categories this year. Two out of the 3 possible categories, meaning like 15 people. Only 2. What happened to the plot of the story? I thought that Hollywood had an epiphany last year about racism. What happened to that racism epiphany that everyone had last year? What happened to the performative activism that everyone went through last year? Now I'm only seeing 2 out of the 15 possible nominees being black women. 2, and no Asian actresses to be seen like anywhere, no Native American actresses to be seen anywhere. What is happening? What is going on? Because I thought you guys cared. I thought, what happened to the rhetoric? What happened to the pretending? What happened to the performance? Now you've forgotten. It literally couldn't last more than 6 months. Wow, pathetic, truly. I'm not happy about this in the slightest. If the Golden Globes thought that they were going to get away with that by nominating 3 female directors, they're sorely mistaken. Sorely mistaken. We still see the other categories. We still see the lack of diversity in those categories. It's shameful. So now that I told you guys my thoughts on the film categories for this year's Golden Globes nominations, it's time for you guys to let me know what you thought of these nominations down in the comments below. Please be sure to subscribe to catch new videos coming up, including my thoughts on the TV show Golden Globe nominations. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.